Part 11. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 102. Wait. Xiaoqing Ai was a little confused. She felt that Chen Chenjin said something she didn't understand. He turned around and patted his face before saying, "Translate for me, what exactly do you want to do? What does it mean to make me happy? Wouldn't it be nice if you hold hands with me and leave together?" Xiaoqing Ai thought that Chen Shen's explanation would mean this. Chen Shen laughed, "Didn't I make it clear? Did you make it clear? I thought you understood. I thought you would explain." Xiaoqing became angry and punched Chen Shen several times. "Believe it or not, I will also work for Shudao Mountain." Chen Shen moved a little to the side. "You have already been beaten. On this show, you are either beaten or pinched every day. Do you still remember that you are an idol?" Xiaoqing followed over, leaned on the railing, and looked at Chen Shen sideways. "Are you angry? How dare fans be angry with their idols? Then you should say it nicely." Chen Shen stood facing outside, turned slightly sideways, and came face to face with Xiaoqing Ai, who was leaning against the railing. "Honestly, do you think Yuan suppressed you?" Xiaoqing rolled his eyes. "So, how do you want me to answer?" Chen Shen looked at the shooting machines around him and said, "Yuan will not necessarily suppress you, but it will let you clearly define your position. Their system will put equal pressure on every artist and let you do everything possible to create benefits. As long as you earn more and get better treatment, that is not called suppression. You think it is a dream. If someone is disobedient, let him study for further education. Yuan's system is destined that Yuan himself will not be anxious, because there are still those who have not debuted." A group of people stared at the man walking downhill. If you make a slight mistake, come from behind. The goal you can't see makes people despair. The goal you can see is to replace her all the time. What should you do? If you go to the doctor for a sudden illness, you will reflect on which aspect you are most likely to create. It's about profit, and then further education becomes nonsense. If the company doesn't work hard, the artists themselves just know how to climb up and work hard to make money. Xiaoqing Ai fell silent. If I were Yuan's boss, I wouldn't want all the artists I have to be phenomenal. That would be above the system. For example, if you have a contract with Penguin for 3 years, it's not Yuan's gift. What is in their hands cannot be taken back. After capitalization, a stable structure is the way to last. When your popularity decreases, it will instead be a kind of internal stability. Don't worry, Director Zhao will not broadcast these words. Xiaoqing Ai wants to make a new album, and she wants to make it herself. Yuan's system is destined to fail. New blood comes in every year, from all over the country, and some have millions of fans on Douyin before they even debut. How many people were staring at the female idol's practice room number 1? How could it be possible to occupy a position and not do anything all the time? I couldn't help it. Xiaoqing Ai wanted to pinch Chen Shen again, but held back. "You are sick, I want to emo. Do you think only Yuan media is like this? No, this is the essence of this circle. I also want to see it when I return to Yuan. It depends on whether you still have potential, so do you want to join this circle?" Xiaoqing crossed his arms, looked into Chen Shen's eyes, and added, "In other words, since you know everything and have said it, and I am not so angry at being shown off, then you still want to push it away, drive me. The cool breeze is like wine or hangover soup, brewing the emotion into a complex yet simple one." Chen Shen put his hands in his pockets and did not avoid Xiaoqing Ai's eyes. "What I originally thought was that after I come back today, I will keep a distance from you. You want me to be the big boss, or win from another angle? Okay, I won't get involved or stop you. It's not that I'm cruel, but you may not be able to swallow the consequences. Taking 1 step back is brave, and taking 2 steps back is wisdom." Xiaoqing pouted, wanting to be angry, but she couldn't understand and was so annoyed. What now? Now? Didn't I tell you that I have become a fan of you? Chen Shen touched his cheek. Thank you for your impulse that day. I am easy to be soft-hearted, and I am afraid that you will be caught before I wait. If people swallow it, they will become depressed. Xiaoqing I was startled. Chen Shen seemed to have said it very simply, but his eyes were full of worry. Xiaoqing bit her lip, and with a feeling of impulsiveness that even I dare to do now, she moved forward inexplicably. The face is getting closer and closer, and you can clearly see his pupils dilated. This time, the touch is not like the last time where there was only emotion and no feeling. Maybe it was because the wind had been blowing for too long, his face was cool and a little soft, and there was a faint smell of hot pot. Touching and separating, Xiaoqing I's cheeks were like the process of boiling water, and the red glow slowly infected him. It's doubled. Chen Shen looked at Xiaoqing I, his neck curled up like a chicken, and he reached out and touched his cheek again. Plans and results often go awry, especially when dealing with people. Chen Shen felt that once Xiaoqing came here, he could not escape unscathed, and this point seemed to fall on him. Chen Shen said softly, I don't know whether you are easy to deceive or I am easy to deceive. Xiaoqing answered, you are easy to deceive, and I am also easy to deceive. Xiaoqing I still didn't understand what Chen Shen wanted to do. Maybe it was because the image of him grabbing the camera to protect his idol image came to mind. On impulse, he believed it and believed that this man would not treat him badly. Is it self-psychological construction, deceiving myself into being the heroine, or deceiving him into being the hero, or is it simply lust? After all, he doesn't look bad. It's hard to explain. True and false, but dare to do whatever you want. Not only do you want to kiss, but I want to kiss twice. The feeling is really different, and I don't know if there will be a third time. I don't dare to go on, or because of the true and false. My mind was confused, and my thoughts were also confused. Xiaoqing I glanced at the villa behind her inexplicably, and then turned back and said, this is not good, you can't be too gullible. I realized that it was wrong and patched myself up. I can't be too gullible either. Chen Shen's hand unconsciously raised, and then put it down again. I have another trick, use it, holding hands or not, it doesn't matter. Xiaoqing glared, she understood the sentence, and then combined with what she said before, it seemed clear. Chen Shen had a big trick that he didn't use, and using it could affect the result, so he didn't want to care about me and wanted to draw a clear line with me. In fact, he passively chose the path that made me cry. That is the so-called big boss. The audience scolds him, and then feels sorry for himself. As a result, this guy couldn't hold it in, afraid that I would be unhappy, and he lost his energy. Don't think too much, just treat the kiss just now as a fan benefit. Let's go, let's freeze to death. Chen Shen turned around and left. Xiaoqing I stayed there for a while before laughing and leaving. After entering the villa, Xiaoqing I restrained himself a little and became more serious. She was very curious about Chen Shen's so-called big move, but it was not easy to ask. Going upstairs, Xiaoqing I stood at the door of her bedroom and turned back. Good night. Chen Shen did not leave. Can I come in? Of course. The girl's bedroom has a lot of things, maybe the wardrobe is full, and there are 2 open boxes by the wall, which also contain various clothes. Su Yuan was sitting in front of the dressing table writing a letter. He turned back when he heard the sound, and his eyes lit up. Are you done talking? Chen Shen asked again, can I come in? Su Yuan waved directly to let Chen Shen go. Xiaoqing curled her lips, but now she felt that she didn't need to bother with Chen Shen. Su Yuan and the others were minor supporting roles in this show. Chen Shen didn't even hold her hand, so how could he hold Su Yuan's? Stop it. Sit down. Su Yuan gave her seat to Chen Shen, and then pulled another chair over. Don't look. She forgot that the things she wrote were on the table, and hurriedly took them over. Chen Shen didn't read the letter, as if he couldn't see it. If you have the ability, don't vote for me. I'll get your tablet. Su Yuan pouted, I knew that you, a busy man, would have no time to go back and get your own computer. I have logged into my account, so don't mess around. I cherish my account very much. Su Yuan enjoyed Chen Shen's unreserved style, so that what she had thought Chen Shen would say to Xia King II before didn't seem to be that important. What else can he say? What does he dare to say? Anyway, he can see it in the end. On Wednesday, Chen Shen went downstairs as usual to get the letter in the box first. He was a little numb, still writing 4 letters. Actually, this feeling is not good, the pressure is all on me. Sister Mo is okay, she will just say a few perfunctory words when she is happy, and give a small piece of white paper when she is unhappy. Mianmian's letter is just a few short sentences, sometimes it looks like a brain teaser. Xia King I's letter is like a poem. What about Su Yuan? A small composition, I wish I could fill a piece of paper, especially the letter yesterday morning. The more Chen Shen read, the softer his heart became. So, today he learned his lesson, took it and went out without reading it, and then stuffed it to Dachi at the door. Here you go, just give it to the director. The contents of these letters are to be made public and let the audience see them, anyway, sooner or later they will be kept by the program team. After breakfast, Chen Shen went out with Su Mo. The villa was very quiet today, and no third person came downstairs until they went out. In the car, Chen Shen and Su Mo no longer considered whether to talk or not, or deliberately said something. They would say what they wanted to say, and they would not say what they didn't want to say. Chen Shen was thinking, sister won't punish herself, right? From Friday to now, I have rested for 5 days and missed 3 days of work. Why don't you come with me today? Su Mo asked while waiting for the traffic light. She felt that if Chen Shen followed her, she would feel much more relaxed. Chen Shen came back to his senses. Goodbye, let me take a breath. Haha. Su Mo understood instantly. It seems that no one seemed dissatisfied in the 4 dates. It's amazing to say. I'm a little curious. Don't be curious. Don't you think I can give you some reference? Or don't you want to tell me the original reason why you came here? As they got more and more familiar with each other, they talked more and more. Su Mo knew that Chen Shen had something in his heart. He looked like a big scumbag, but would a big scumbag have the leisure to come here to fall in love? Chen Shen smiled and said, don't ask, I still have principles, and I have to have a beginning and an end. Su Mo also smiled, you said that, I know what I'm doing. Chen Shen leaned on the seat, and after chatting, he would occasionally look at Su Mo. As the beginning of the day, it is really pleasant to have such a beautiful driver. Sister Mo. Well, you say. We are indeed quite compatible. Su Mo frowned, what do you want to say? I think we can be good friends. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 103. Can a man and a woman be best friends? Su Mo had only seen this kind of situation on TV, and it was a bloody drama. I think it's a reliable partner. Chen Shen looked at Su Mo's serious look and had a smile on his face. Mian doesn't have many friends. In fact, Sister Mo doesn't have many friends either. With Sister Mo's current qualifications, there are very few who can still be friends. Business is all on their minds. This also requires a relatively lonely life. Only in this way can you have the energy to do it. Think about those businesses. Chen Shen smiled, and Su Mo also saw it and frowned. It's not that I don't understand, but I take what you said seriously. I think this is the attitude that a partner should have. Chen Shen smiled and said, sure enough, when it comes to work, I become very serious. Su Emo rolled her eyes. Are you not serious when you work? That's not true. In fact, I am responding to your curiosity and at the same time making you mentally prepared. Su Emo stepped on the brakes and arrived at Chen Shen's work. What do you mean? Good bestie, I understand you and care about you. No matter what others think, you need a way to explain yourself, Chen Shen said while unbuckling his seat belt. Su Emo actually understood. Chen Shen was indeed responding to his curiosity. However, it was not him and the other female guests who responded, but himself. Don't think too much. My circle will only think that I, Su Emo, have lowered the minimum limit in order to do business. Besides, my capital is not afraid of others spreading rumors. Of course, I am not afraid either. Su Emo didn't take it seriously. Road. Chen Shen shook his head. You are not afraid of yourself. Where are your subordinates? Where are your family members? Or to put it simply, when Su Emo left Lianzone, she was not dumped by a man, but dumped a man herself. Her best friend is just. Chen Shen was stuck. He suddenly felt that these 4 words were a bit too ambiguous to justify himself. Wouldn't that mean he was lying to himself? Anyway, that's what I explained. You should understand. Chen Shen opened the car door and was about to get out of the car. He felt that he had talked too much, so he just mentioned his best friend as a foreshadowing. Sister Emo would definitely understand. Su Emo was still thinking about what Chen Shen said. Su Emo left Lianzone not because she was dumped by a man, but because she dumped him. The hidden meaning of this sentence is that Chen Shen is still arranging the ending between him and me, Su Emo, in the love complex. If it ends with the current content, the director team can only cut it into getting along with Chen Shen, and Su Emo gradually develops a good impression of Chen Shen. Su Emo felt that what she had done was what she had done, and she was not afraid of rumors. As she said, her capital or family background can support her business, and her business will not be affected by rumors or the characters in the show. For Chen Shen, I really feel like a close friend, and the cooperation is particularly smooth. Just understand each other, no explanation is needed. Maybe this was also a close friend. Su Emo felt that there was no need to worry too much about helping Chen Shen. Chen Shen was also thinking of lightening the burden for himself. Is this considered another two-way journey? Su Emo looked at the co-pilot and said softly, it's okay as long as I understand. There's no need to bother anymore. Chen Shen turned around and said, little kid, let's go. After saying that, he was about to close the car door. Maybe he felt that he or Su Emo was a bit too formal on this issue. Chen Shen opened the car door again and looked inside. Sister Emo. Su Emo leaned over. What's wrong? Chen Shen glanced unconsciously, and the seat belt stretched out a heavy arc in the ravine. There is something I have been saying for a long time, you have such a good figure. Su Emo was stunned for a moment, then laughed and cursed, get out. As soon as I arrived at the company, I was very familiar with Zheng. He was the first to arrive and even had to turn on the lights by himself. After entering his office, Chen Shen turned on the light and opened the window to relieve his boredom. Turn on the computer and take out Su Yuan's tablet. I found a set of photos with a strong sense of atmosphere from the material library, and edited a piece of copy. I posted it on Xiaohongshu first, and then updated it on Douyin. The update may only take 5 or 6 minutes before the phone starts vibrating. On WeChat, news about Su Yuan came. Ha ha ha, I saw it. Real love does not mean breaking up when you are tired or disappointed, but you will still find a way even if you are tired or disappointed. Did you write this copy yourself? Hee hee. I just got up. Chen Shen was speechless and typed back, I didn't write it for you. Su Yuan, I know, I understand, I will definitely be able to get up early tomorrow. Chen Shen put down his cell phone, feeling a little embarrassed. He was writing these messy things with Su Yuan's account. He always felt like he was playing with two accounts to be ambiguous with each other. These are all foreshadowing for the audience. When the show came online, after knowing that Chen Shen was an actor, Su Yuan gradually became attracted to it. These pretentious copywriting were her weapon to attract fans. Putting down the tablet, Chen Shen first paid attention to the recent developments of Huan Yu and Yuan. During this period, both families were relatively stable, with no particularly big movements. When reading news about the entertainment industry, Xiaoqing's words caught Chen Shen's attention. He clicked on it and frowned. It's true, Xiaoqing II is recording a love story in Yuzhou. At early 8 o'clock in the morning, on Weibo, this entry was the 9th most popular search topic. I'll be honest with you, uncle, this Weibo is broken, right? Will King Bao go to Lianzhou? Stop making trouble. Even if he goes, he will still be the same group of people sitting in the studio for analysis. At media, is there anyone who cares about spreading rumors? I will start spreading rumors even if you don't care. King Bao fans, please don't reply or comment on this topic. The sisters in the group are already asking. Chen Shen shook his head. The operation was too obvious. Even if someone accidentally knew about it, it would not be on the hot search early in the morning. Chen Shen was very experienced in this kind of thing. He had ups and downs in his previous life, and there were a lot of hot searches. Later, he did things on his own, which was the so-called selling goods, and bought a lot of hot searches. Who could use such inferior means? The most unlikely one is the friendly army, because the friendly army is going for good results, and things must be done beautifully. Only those who want to mess with you will not care about the means. So, it can't be the program team, nor can it be Yuan himself. The answer is obvious. Is it you, Akan? Chen Shen leaned back in his office chair, not anxious or impatient. There is one thing that Chen Shen has been preparing for several days, that is, to pull Zhou Wenbei to his side. After getting along for half a month, Chen Shen has a more or less preliminary judgment on Zhou Gaikan. Maybe there is no big problem, but there are still small problems. When he first approached Su Mian ignored him. Then he tried to capture Su Yuan, but he got the better of her. When Xiaoqing II came, she was like a blooming flower, and he couldn't help it. Unfortunately, Xiaoqing II also looked at him. Why did he pull Zhou Wenbei? Isolation. If the female guest doesn't like you, you may be able to tolerate it, but if the male guest doesn't play with you, how can you tolerate it? Either move in advance to deal with himself, or move in advance to deal with Xiaoqing II. Chen Shen has thought about these and even promoted this. Huanyu and Yuan have conflicts. At the beginning, Chen Shen was thinking about how to let Huanyu focus on the love variety show. Xiaoqing II's arrival was Yuan's plan for Xiaoqing II's development, and Xiaoqing II also had an opponent. Huanyu didn't notice it, but if she noticed it, should she help Xiaoqing II, the opponent? Yuan must say hello to Zhao Chunshen, and in terms of editing, Xiaoqing II must be protected, so that Huanyu can come over. No matter how much it costs, they are still very happy to participate, put some pressure, and discussed Yuan. At that time, Chen Shen and Su Mo were not so close, and Chen Shen had to find a way to fight Xiaoqing II at the capital level. What was the result? After getting along, he was no match for Xiaoqing II. Alas, he was still soft-hearted. These days, Chen Shen began to think about other ways. He made friends with Huanyu. He was nothing and had no capital to negotiate conditions. It would be so nice to play with Sister Mo. Chen Shen just let it go and ignored Zhou Gaikan. He hoped that Akan would have some blood and take action first. As long as he took action, it meant that Huanyu was finished. Even if it was not, it would look the same to Yuan. If it were not for this, Chen Shen would have found a way to ease the relationship with Zhou Gaikan. At present, even Zhou Gaikan would not have much effort to become brothers. In the entertainment industry, if it is not necessary, don't offend people easily. At 9:30, the office door was pushed open. Chen Qinyu appeared at the door. From the outside, Chen Qinyu did not have the characteristics of a girl from Yuzhou. Instead, she looked like a gentle Jiangnan woman, especially when her hair was tied up on her head. But her personality still had a little bit of Yuzhou girl's elements, and Chen Shen instinctively covered his ears. Chen Qinyu walked over in high heels. Are you scared now? Covering your ears won't cure you. Chen Qinyu directly took action and pinched Chen Shen's neck and shook it. Okay, you're absent from work, and you're absent for 3 days. This is not bad. You showed up at home with Su Mo and ran away. You've been hiding for so many days. What do you want me to think? I'm so angry. No, 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 I'm dizzy, really dizzy, I'm going to vomit. I was wrong, Sister Chen Shen begged for mercy. How many times have you made mistakes? Have you changed? Am I so terrible that I can't even explain myself? Su Mo is beautiful, but do you know what she thinks? Who are you to play tricks on her? Leading capital involves various fields. It is one of the largest capitals in Pengcheng. Its investments are all over the country. The actual controller is named Su. Do you think you can establish a trusting relationship after meeting a few times and playing for a few days? What if they use you? As she spoke, Chen Qinyu's anger gradually subsided. It may be that Chen Shen stopped struggling and the hand that was pinching her neck stopped shaking. Hey, I'm not blaming you. You may also be thinking about the good of the family. I'm worried about you. You are just an emotional and impulsive literary kid. Isn't it enough to be cheated in Yanjing? I let you stay with me, not because I don't want you to handle the family business, but because it's the most stable here. I'm not as impatient as your father. Chen Shen reached out and grabbed the hand that Chen Qinyu had placed on his neck, then slowly squeezed it and put it down. He stood up and dragged Chen Qinyu to sit in his seat. Chen Shen wanted to explain why he didn't tell his sister about this. However, after he stood up, he didn't want to explain anymore. He finally felt a sense of belonging in this world, or someone who loved him. He didn't want Chen Qinyu to feel that she had grown up. Sister, I will definitely tell you later. Thank you for the 4,000 coins reward from brother who can't stand the test. I'm going to my aunt's house for dinner tomorrow, so the update may be a little later. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 104. Chen Qinyu hugged her arms. Although the anger in her heart gradually disappeared, she didn't want to forgive him so easily. Last night, your father called me and said that Chen Huaqiu had turned over. Chen Shen sat on the desk with his buttocks tilted. Then what? Then ask you, don't tell me what happened later. And said he drank too much, so I really asked you. Chen Shen thought for a while and said, Sister, are you relieved, Mr. Chu? With a simple sentence, Chen Qinyu's doubts were gradually solved, and then she turned the chair and looked at Chen Shen. What's going on between you and Su Mo? And said that she should ask Chen Shen, and her father didn't explain. It shows that the key point of Chen Huaqiu's turnaround lies in Chen Shen, and the fact that Chen Shen brought Su Mo home last Friday. The logic line is very clear. Chen Qinyu has been in contact with Su Mo, and she is as proud as a white swan. When dealing with people, she doesn't reveal a single drop of water. Chen Qinyu is afraid that her brother will suffer. Chen Shen thought about it and said half seriously and half jokingly, she is my sponsor. Chen Qinyu was stunned for a moment, then stared. The figure of her brother and Sue Mo kept appearing in her mind, and then intertwined. When she combined Chen Shen's background in the entertainment industry and the fate of Chen Hotpot, and added the word sponsor, she seemed to understand. After a long time, Chen Qinyu stood up and gently hugged Chen Shen. "I'm sorry for wronging you." Chen Shen's body was a little stiff, and he said with a stiff face, "It's okay. Some things are hard to explain, such as my changes. It's better to let my sister misunderstand, and the changes are all taught by Su Mo. Sister, if Mr. Chu is reliable, you should hand Yu Qing over to Mr. Chu first, and then take over the family business. Your father is old and can't adapt to the current business environment." Chen Qinyu let go of Chen Shen, not knowing whether to be happy or sad. She didn't believe that Chen Shen could control Su Mo. Her silly brother went to the entertainment industry and couldn't even make his debut. He was silly and naive. Then we can only think about the bad side. He himself said that Su Mo is his financial sponsor. Chen Ruxi's love for Chen Shen is different from Chen Qinyu's love for Chen Shen. Chen Ruxi sees that his son is awesome, that is a good father and a good son, because he doesn't care about details and his energy is all on business. It is normal for him to change, and that man is unchanging. When Chen Qinyu sees that Chen Shen is awesome or has changed, her first feeling is that her brother has been deceived and fooled. It's not that she doesn't believe it, but the Chen Shen in her heart is a specific Chen Shen, and too much change is abrupt. Chen Shen is very greedy for this feeling. It's so lucky for an adult to have someone to act coquettishly and say sweet words. If you want to explain to your sister, you have to let her know that your brother has become the pillar of the family, and what he will get in return will only be concerns and passive alienation. How can he be as casual as he is now, and still hug each other? What about you? Chen Qinyu asked. Chen Shen smiled. How can I be as good as you? Wouldn't it be troublesome if I went? Chen Qinyu pouted. Who said that? You are also very good. How can my brother be worse? In Chen Qinyu's subconscious mind, although her brother is a little silly, he is very charming. Chen Shen said that Su Mo is his sponsor, and Chen Qinyu didn't doubt it at all. She even felt that her brother was abused by Su Mo, and she was indignant in her heart. I actually thought about this matter a long time ago, but it was meaningless before. I can't save Chen Hotpot, and I'm afraid that you will have a grudge. Chen Qinyu sighed. Chen Shen laughed and said, Who am I? I wish you were all great, and then I could be a second-generation rich man who eats and waits for death. Your father is a bit disappointing, sister. I can only rely on you. Puff. Chen Qinyu stretched out her hand, instinctively wanted to do it to Chen Shen, but she held back and straightened the collar of Chen Shen's shirt. Just tell me these words, don't say them in front of your father. I know, I was there for dinner yesterday. Chen Hotpot needs to increase capital and will not be short of money. Don't touch the money in Yuking's account. Su Mo seems to have some moves. I will tell you when I get the news, and we will drink soup together, Chen Shen said softly. Since there has been a misunderstanding, push all the subsequent operations to Su Mo. Chen Qinyu was silent. She felt very uncomfortable in her heart. She felt that the fate of Chen Hotpot and the development of the entire Chen family were obtained by sacrificing her brother's happiness. Then I really have to take over the family business. Your father's ability is really not worthy of the grievances you have suffered. When your sister stands up, I will find you a girl who is 100 times better than Su Mo, Chen Qinyu said seriously. Yuan Media. Almost everyone knows that Yuan Media has two capable people, one is Han Jin and the other is Shen Hailan. Both of them were agents at the beginning. Now, Han Jin is responsible for managing the entire TT family, and Shen Hailan has taken up the banner of the SG family, that is, the expansion of the female idol business. The core assets of the TT family are the first generation of male idols, 3 phenomenal top artists, who are now developing in the 3 fields of film, television, and music. Each of them has their own studio, which is not managed by Han Jin and Shen Halen. Putting aside these three people, although there are many male idols who have debuted, there is also Xiaoqing on the female idol side, which can be regarded as internal competition. It has been 12 years since Yuan Media was founded, and Han Jin has also been in the company for 12 years. He was the one who created the first generation of male idols of TT family. Shen Halen was behind the second generation of male idols. It was from the third year of the company that Shen Halen joined Yuan Media. But she couldn't reach the height of the first generation of male idols, so Shen Halen made up her mind and went to work on the business of female idols. Xiaoqing Ai is the first artist who can be called a top-tier artist among the idols she brought out. However, there are limitations. The first generation of male idols in the TT family relied on the internet to ferment themselves, and the benefits they created were a miracle in the industry. Xiaoqing Ai became popular thanks to the platform of Penguin Video, which is not a charity. Good news, Xiaoqing Ai is very popular. Bad news, Penguin Video will participate in the operation of Xiaoqing Ai. Yuan didn't want to have a bad relationship with Penguin Video, so she agreed. Of course, there were additional conditions, that is, Penguin Video signed an agreement with Yuan to become a strategic partner. If the projects of Penguin Video are suitable for artists of Yuan Media artists must be given priority. Then, Xiaoqing Ai stayed on Penguin Video when he was most popular. Who cares about the healthy development of your artists on the big platform? They promote you just to make money. I wish I could squeeze all of Xiaoqing Ai's potential and then give it back to you. This is how Xiaoqing Ai returned to Yuan 3 years later. In the office, Shen Halen sat in front of the computer and saw Xiaoqing Ai on the hot search of the dating variety show. After a morning of fermentation, the popularity has jumped to the top 3. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 105. In front of Shen Halen, there were detailed information about the program Love Lesson. This program was chosen by Xiaoqing Ai himself. Shen Halen called Zhao Chunsheng and agreed after knowing the details of the program. If it becomes popular, it will be great, and it can also drive sales of Xiaoqing Ai's new album. If you are not popular, you can accept it and manage Xiaoqing Ai better. Your own way will not work, so you must be willing to listen to me. After the fire, there was a year of silence. I wanted to break through, and the company fully supported it, but it didn't work out. Then Xiaoqing Ai, an artist, became a truly mature artist in Shen Halen's eyes. In this regard, Shen Halen feels that she is better than Han Jin. Han Jin is really good at making stars. However, after people become popular, they no longer listen to nonsense. You can't control them now, so you can only comfort yourself and say let them spread their wings and fly high. For Shen Halen, who has rich experience in making stars, when looking at an artist, one should not just look at what is in front of him. The management of artists is also multidimensional. Shen Halen unlocked his phone and found Xiaoqing Ai's WeChat account. King Ai, what do you think of Chen Shen? In a recording studio here in the office building, Xiaoqing Ai was listening to the results of the songs he had recorded. She took out her vibrating phone and after seeing the message, she didn't reply immediately. After thinking for a while, he typed, Chen Shen? It's okay. After replying, Xiaoqing Ai would look at her phone from time to time, and only breathe a sigh of relief when the message came again. Where's Zhou Gaikan? How is this guy? Xiaoqing Ai also did not reply immediately. He waited for a while before replying, I'm not very familiar with him. After all, we didn't get along for a long time, but he was very good to me at the beginning. Okay, I understand. Don't worry about things online. I confirmed with Director Zhao before that this matter is not necessarily a bad thing. Good. Xiaoqing stuck out her tongue before putting on the monitoring headphones. In the office, Shen Halen's eyes kept wandering over two documents, one for Chen Shen and the other for Zhou Gaikan. The entertainment industry is not big at all. Under normal circumstances, no one will deliberately target a certain person as long as it does not touch the interests of the other party. Then you just need to distinguish whether the person who is messing with you is simply doing it for the popularity, or is doing it for actual benefits, or is just looking to make you unhappy. Posting on hot searches early in the morning is not a stupid operation that ordinary people can do. It requires certain channels. The chances of this kind of person simply chasing the popularity of gossip are slim. After narrowing down the scope, Shen Halen had three suspects. The first was Chen Shen, the second was Zhou Gaikan, and the third was the trainees under Xiaoqing Ai who were eyeing him. Love is a lesson. If you look closely, this show is indeed interesting. Chen Shen is King Ai's most direct opponent, but he is also an opponent that is impossible to win. As long as Xiaoqing Ai holds hands with someone, he will definitely win. After learning that Xiaoqing Ai had brought Chen Shen to Yuan Media, Shen Halen did not talk to Xiaoqing Ai. She felt that Xiaoqing Ai did the right thing. Rather than being conservative, it is better to take the initiative, give up the safest option, and attack the core opponent. This kind of win will convince the audience and will not damage the accumulated reputation. When I asked Qingyi how he felt about Chen Shen, apart from being slightly suspicious, I also wanted to test Qingyi's tone. That is Chen Shen. Whether the contact goes well or not, or whether he will be manipulated in the opposite direction. Judging from Xiaoqing Ai's answer, she should be successful. Why is there only the slightest suspicion about Chen Shen? Because it is indeed possible that Chen Shen could still stay awake during his contact with Qingyi, feel that he had no chance of winning, and then start from the sidelines. It was only Xiaoqing Ai's answer that made Shen Halen reject this suspicion. Shen Halen understood his artist. Xiaoqing Ai grew up under heavy pressure. It is impossible for her not to know what is important and what is not important. Xiaoqing Ai's charm and absolute advantage made it an impossible game to lose. Zhou Gaikan was very kind to her at the beginning, and the information revealed is worthy of careful study. Why was it good in the first place? Because Xiaoqing went to attack Chen Shen. A simple and clear line of logic, at least there is a motive for committing the crime. Shen Halen thought for a while, found a number, and dialed it. Soon, the other party answered the phone. Mr. Shen? Good guy, what are your instructions? Shen Halen smiled and said, Mr. Ren, please stop joking with me. How dare I give you instructions, the boss of the Joy Project department. Associate. It's not a matter of time. I won't talk nonsense to you. I want to ask you about someone. Who? Zhou Gaikan, do you understand? Zhou Gaikan? Aren't you from our public relations department? What, you want to poach someone? Ha ha ha. Are you so happy? Mr. Ren, I'm not kidding you. Okay, if he offends you, I will be the host another day and let him make amends to you. Where are you thinking? I just want to know your evaluation or impression of him. Maybe I can dig him out. Ha ha ha, stop making trouble. I may not know if you ask others, but I still know about him. Some people call him the most affectionate and joyful person in private. What's the meaning? Let me tell you this, he likes Feng Jialin. Feng Jialin? Didn't they get married in secret 2 years ago? Yes, the reason why we can still keep our marriage secret is that Zhou Gaikan helped us. He has a strong relationship on Weibo. He can remove several trending searches for you within half an hour. The speaker is unintentional, but the listener is intentional. Shen Halen smiled, no wonder your public relations department is so efficient. I didn't expect there is such a ruthless person. The project in Chase Haile's hands is not optimistic in the circle. Mr. Ren, I may have to congratulate you in advance. Mr. Shen, don't destroy our internal unity. As everyone knows, Chase Hyla is my beloved mentor. Shen Halan laughed, okay, don't I know you Ren Dongjun? That's Huanyu's loyal and courageous. Ha ha ha, Mr. Shen, you are still experienced and you can judge people accurately. After hanging up the phone, Shen Halan brought Joe Gaiken's information to him. Unexpectedly, he is still a big lover. It is reasonable for such a person to do such a thing. Shen Halan smiled and found another dialogue box on WeChat. Xiao Yuan, keep an eye on the trainees below and don't let them join in the fun. Xiao Yuan, is that what I understand? Keep an eye on them openly and secretly? And then settle the score later. Shen Halan, no, some people will have their own follow-up. Shen Halan believes that the information given by Ren Dongjun is correct. Ren Dongjun is a realist. Huanyu and Yuan are not in harmony. That is the company. As long as his own business is right and smooth, he will not care so much. People like Joe Gaiken are unlikely to be cruel to women. As long as they are sure that the other party will not really hurt King Ai, it will be fine. This kind of heat, from another angle, can also be called lowering the bottom line in advance. First let the audience think it is a negative number, and then find out that it is zero. It seems that it is not unacceptable. Of course, Joe Gaiken took action after all, and the reason is on Yuan's side. There is no need to be timid when doing some things. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 106. At 5:30, when Chen Shen returned to the villa, Zhou Wenbei was already busy in the kitchen. Seeing Chen Shen show his head, Zhou Wenbei immediately smiled and greeted him. Cooking so early? Chen Shen asked. Zhou Wenbei smiled shyly, I'll make some braised meat and kimchi first. Chen Shen leaned over, do you need help? Zhou Wenbei shook his head, no, this is very simple, not as complicated as cooking. I'll put it in the refrigerator when I'm done. You can take it out whenever you want to eat it. Chen Shen hummed and sat at the dining table with his computer. Zhou Wenbei began to wash the prepared meat, occasionally looking at the dining table. While washing, Zhou Wenbei spoke again, Brother Ken has been coming back later and later these days. He said he would cook with me, but he won't do it anymore. Chen Shen looked up, coughed twice, and smiled, it seems that you have completely gotten used to the life in the villa, just like your own home, and you know how to reserve food. Chen Shen did not respond to Zhou Wenbei's words, but Zhou Wenbei understood. People, especially those who love to learn, can't sit still. When love has no hope, they like to study other things. How can I become a charming person while being excellent? Like Brother Shen. He mentioned Joe Gaiken because he wanted to know what Brother Shen thought of Joe Gaiken, based on Zhou Wenbei's current understanding. Brother Shen's charm does not seem to mean simply good. After all, he thought Brother Shen was not good at the beginning. Zhou Wenbei is exploring the specific reasons for this cognitive bias. Brother Shen avoided this topic. It's not that he didn't want to answer, but he reminded himself that the villa is not a home. Some things can only be said in private because there are cameras. This seems to be back to the level of good. Zhou Wenbei frowned. He felt something was wrong. Since Brother Shen himself knew that the villa was a villa and the home was a home, why didn't he care? Brother Shen, do you think we should wait until the marinade is boiled before putting the meat in, or can we put the meat in cold water? Zhou Wenbei also avoided Chen Shen's words. Chen Shen casually replied, there is a saying that cold water soup is delicious and hot water meat is fragrant. You can refer to it. Zhou Wenbei smiled and said as if he had finally caught me, so, Brother Shen, you must be able to cook. Chen Shen was stunned. This kid also knows how to ask questions. Zhou Wenbei walked around the island and walked towards Chen Shen. The expression on his face was like a student full of curiosity, Brother Shen, why, Are you holding back a big move? Cook a meal for the girl you like at a critical moment. After paying attention to Chen Shen, Zhou Wenbei did have this question. Chen Shen always said that he couldn't cook, so he rarely did it. He could watch the female guest who partnered with him cook alone. Zhou Wenbei observed Chen Shen cooking noodles. He was very skilled and didn't look like he couldn't cook at all. Since you know that there are cameras in the villa, you still have to remind yourself, but aren't you afraid that these clips will be broadcast and scolded by the audience? Zhou Wenbei thought that he was holding back to give the female guest a surprise at the end, perhaps because he was afraid that Chen Shen would be disgusted by his behavior of exposing him. Zhou Wenbei added, "It's okay, I will definitely not show off. When will I use a big trick? I will help you, brother Shen, really." Chen Shen smiled, "What kind of big trick is this? I really can't cook. Don't guess blindly." Seeing that Zhou Wenbei was going to give an example to prove it, Chen Shen interrupted him, "Being yourself is the most comfortable. You are very good, and your brother Ken is also very good. This is my sincere words." Zhou Wenbei frowned, as if he knew something, but also seemed to know nothing. "Is brother Ken good? Maybe he is very good to others, but you have a lot of opinions about brother Shen in private. You have told yourself several times that you are not good in this or that. But, brother Ken." If Zhou Wenbei said the sentence in full, it would be "But brother Ken thinks you are not good," but he was interrupted by Chen Shen. "This is your greatest advantage and your greatest disadvantage." Zhou Wenbei frowned and was confused. He is indeed studious, both in academics and in life. Chen Shen provided him with an attractive target template, and his desire to explore was aroused. "It's okay, brother Shen, if you are not afraid of being scolded, I am not afraid either." Zhou Wenbei directly revealed his cards. Since he has to learn, brother Shen is not afraid of these tricks, so why should he be afraid? If the program team broadcasts his words, he can be scolded. Chen Shen sighed, "The student is really good." Looking at Zhou Wenbei's clear and curious eyes, Chen Shen shook his head and said, "I will only answer you one question. The previous Chen Shen may cook, but the future Chen Shen will definitely not cook, so the previous Chen Shen is not important to you at all." Zhou Wenbei frowned and thought, he still couldn't figure it out. Chen Shen reminded, "Your brine is boiling." Coincidentally, there was a sound in the living room, and Zhou Wenbei had to go back to the kitchen. Xiaoqing Ai is back, and it's rare to come back so early. At the entrance of the restaurant, Xiaoqing Ai saw Chen Shen and walked over with a smile, but stopped halfway and turned to look at the kitchen. "What are you cooking? It smells so good." Zhou Wenbei was still thinking about the problem and instinctively looked up. "What did you say?" Obviously, Xiaoqing Ai didn't pay much attention to what Zhou Wenbei said. "Start cooking at this time." Zhou Wenbei just realized the first question Xiaoqing Ai asked, "Braised meat. Where did this little jar come from?" My marinade is boiling." They were talking nonsense and kept chatting. Chen Shen couldn't help but laughed out loud. Zhou Wenbei's thoughts were a bit fresh and unworldly, "But what were you thinking about, Xiaoqing Ai? You wouldn't be thrown off balance by a hot surge, would you?" Zhou Wenbei finally reacted and looked at Xiaoqing Ai. "I'm busy, you take a rest, I won't cook now, I'll cook when they come back." Xiaoqing Ai frowned, "Or how about ordering takeout, I'll treat you." "No, I'm not tired." Zhou Wenbei wanted to introduce what dishes were available tonight, but before he could say anything, Xiaoqing Ai went out. Zhou Wenbei shrugged, then continued to look at Chen Shen. What was he thinking about just now? At 6:20, Su Yuan came back. She wore a pair of white slim-fitting trousers today, and her well-proportioned legs were very eye-catching. Su Yuan walked towards Chen Shen naturally. "What time do you get off work?" 5. "Probably. Can we change jobs?" Su Yuan sat next to Chen Shen, leaning on the table, his voice a little weak, just short of writing the words "I don't want to work in this job" on his face. Chen Shen leaned back. He felt that girls wearing such conspicuous pants must have good-looking legs, otherwise they would always attract people to look at them more. Slender and well-proportioned, once sitting down, she looked voluptuous. It will be fine, for sure. Su Yuan seemed to have discovered something interesting, and leaned over, his legs almost touching Chen Shen's legs, the kind that could feel the other's temperature. I used to take the light rail back from get off work, but now I take a taxi. Chen Shen raised his eyebrows unconsciously, who would usually focus the body's senses on the legs. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 107. Su Yuan was still lying on the table, just looking at Chen Shen's face from the side. She noticed Chen Shen's gaze and deliberately leaned over. The irritability of work was swept away. This seemingly meaningless action seemed to be extremely fun. The extra 10 yuan spent on the taxi was really worth it? Do you want to play with the tablet? Chen Shen asked. Su Yuan shook her head, and then hummed, all right. After answering, she laughed out loud. After the date, Su Yuan felt that her feelings for Chen Shen had made a significant breakthrough. It can be completely summed up in 2 words, happy. In the morning, after Chen Shen posted a dynamic with his own account, Su Yuan would open a small account from time to time to take a look. This guy would also reply to those who asked and cared about him, very politely. Even if someone criticized him, he would reply politely. Reply in the morning, reply in the afternoon. Su Yuan felt that every word Chen Shen typed seemed to heal his boring and dull working life. Su Yuan pulled her legs apart, and Chen Shen looked over. Su Yuan giggled and stuck closer again. She thought Chen Shen didn't feel anything. This is not good, Chen Shen said softly. Su Yuan blinked, then what are you laughing at? Chen Shen, I'm not laughing. You laughed, and you're still laughing. Su Yuan suddenly frowned, then turned back, and she smelled a smell. Hey, Xiaobai, you're here too. Zhong Wenbei scratched his head. I can also be away. Su Yuan stood up. Are you cooking? Zhong Wenbei looked left and right. Isn't it obvious? Su Yuan habitually wanted to go over to help, took 2 steps, turned back, and frowned. Xiaobai, this is not good for you. Zhong Wenbei glared. Huh? Sister Yuan, do you think I did it too late or too early? Su Yuan shook her head. No, you're too diligent, it makes me look lazy. After that, Su Yuan sat back next to Chen Shen. Chen Shen smiled and said, you might as well just say I'm lazy. Su Yuan shook his head and said seriously, you're not lazy, Xiaobai is just busy. Zhong Wenbei looked at the dining table, then looked at himself, sighed and smiled bitterly. Is this what love is? He never felt that there was such a big difference between one person and 2 people. This comparison, the world is not worth it. I cook, busy, others play, just busy. Suddenly, Zhong Wenbei was stunned, he seemed to understand. Why did Xia King I leave just now? Could it be because of this reason? If I cook, will others look lazy? Then they will be unhappy? What if there is a reverse logic? Zhong Wenbei looked at Chen Shen and glared, he felt that he understood. Brother Shen can indeed cook, so why did he say he can't cook? And deliberately watched the female guest busy alone? Applied to the reverse logic, it seems to make sense. If he is lazy alone, the audience will scold him, and then feel sorry for his partner. Zhong Wenbei was a little excited, as if he had solved a big problem. Some were eager to try, but then slowly calmed down. Brother Shen said that the previous Chen Shen might be able to cook, but the future Chen Shen would definitely not be able to cook. Zhong Wenbei sighed. He couldn't do it, and he couldn't do it. He had been in the love show for so long, and he had spent a lot of effort to cook a meal. Now he wanted to show his goodness by himself, but it was too late. People have begun to dislike this kind of goodness. Some good things are not good, and some bad things are not bad. It's so difficult. Regardless of whether Brother Shen can do it in the future, Zhong Wenbei believes what Brother Shen said at this moment. He will not do the so-called surprise to reverse his reputation. It's really cruel. It seems that the deeper the understanding of Brother Shen, the more you can feel the gap. When Zhong Wenbei was thinking about the so-called mystery of life, Chen Shen sat upright, looking like a gentleman. If you look closely, you will find that Su Yuan's hand has been in Chen Shen's hand without knowing when. It was smaller than his own hand, very soft, and warm. Chen Shen was full of righteousness. This is not good. Su Yuan, oh. But one of them didn't pull his hand away, and the other didn't let go. Everyone knows the truth, but he just doesn't want to let go. Chen Shen felt that he had changed a little. He used to think that this was acting. Anyway, he had deceived Su Yuan, so he would give her a perfect experience. What about now? If I let go, how sad will she be? How much of a jerk am I? This is not a fair duel, and the victory is unfair. So, it's not that my business ability has declined, but that I don't want to hurt innocent people under the knife. Is this also fair and above board without violating professional ethics? Yuan. Su Yuan hummed, then whispered, can you change your name? Change. Well, call me Su'er. Chen Shen looked around, then lowered his head, Su'er. Su Yuan was stunned, then smiled, okay, what do you want to say? If one day, life deceives you, what will you do? Su Yuan glared, I will kill him. Chen Shen let go of his hand. Su Yuan was happy, just a joke, do you think I'm violent? After saying that, Su Yuan reached out his hand again, and this time, Chen Shen really pushed it away with righteousness. If life deceives you, don't be sad, don't be anxious. Su Yuan stretched out his finger and poked Chen Shen's thigh, are you sick, reciting a poem? Chen Shen frowned, oh, I forgot, this world seems to have this poem too. Yuan, what kind of person do you think I am? Chen Shen asked again. Su Yuan frowned, please say this sentence again. Su'er, what kind of person do you think I am? Su Yuan thought about it and shook his head, I don't know. Don't know. It's just because I'm in this mountain. Chen Shen almost got goosebumps and stood up and said, I am a loyal person. For example, now, I'm going to play games with Mian Mian. He left as soon as he said he would. Damn, we can't be alone together. Being alone with Su Yuan, the temperature rises quickly. Maybe I'm too professional and I get into the role quickly. Damn. Su Mian is indeed back, carrying her small backpack, like a well-behaved student who goes home after school. Su Yuan pouted and wanted to call Chen Shen, but held back. Chen Shen positioned Su Mian as a good friend. Su Yuan remembered this. She is not the kind of person who gets carried away without thinking. Su Mian had been close to Chen Shen before Su Yuan. For this kind of show, Su Yuan felt that if Su Mian changed her personality, she would definitely become a love rival. Although she and Chen Shen were already in the ambiguous stage, they had not really settled down yet. At this time, it was a force in the opposite direction to care about these things. Su Yuan sighed, picked up her phone and found her bestie's chat box, sister, love is indeed sweet, but sometimes it can be sour. Soon, her bestie replied, oh. Expand on it. Su Yuan started typing again, for example, now, my handsome guy ignores me. Bestie, okay, that's enough, No need to say more. There were relatives at home, and I got up at 8:30 to cook, and was busy until 12:30. After dinner, I took a nap, and then started to prepare dinner again. After these 2 days, the update volume will be increased. Happy New Year, brothers. Have you watched the Spring Festival Gala? Let me know what happened this year. Is it good? I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Chingjomi Se. Chapter 108. In the WeChat group, Su Mo tagged all the members and said that she had to work overtime in the evening and would not be back for dinner, so there was no need to wait for her. Xiaoqing Ai appeared in the kitchen again. She first glanced at Su Yuan, who was still sitting at the dining table, and then walked to the kitchen. Sister Mo said she would not be back. Let's start cooking. I'll help you, Xiaoqing Ai said to Zhong Wenbei. Zhong Wenbei was staring at the pot in front of him in a daze. He came back to his senses when he heard Xiaoqing Ai's voice, no, let's order takeout. Zhong Wenbei figured out a lot of things. The show was in the later stage, and there was a sense of dust settling. At this time, everyone was not interested in this kind of work. If you work alone, you are the first to come out, and others will be unhappy. Xiaoqing Ai frowned. She went downstairs after seeing Su Mo's WeChat. Thinking that Xiaobai should not be left alone to work, you come here and you don't want to do it again? What does it mean? Sure enough, no man is a good thing. Xiaoqing Ai took out his cell phone, leaned back on the kitchen stove, and started looking at the takeaway. Okay, then I'll order takeaway. I said I'll treat you. Zhong Wenbei was stunned, and instinctively wanted to explain, that's not what I meant. Before he finished his sentence, Zhong Wenbei closed his mouth. If he applied Brother Shen's anti-logic, he shouldn't be polite at this time. He looked at the camera and moved to the side, exposing Xiaoqing Ai completely to the camera. Fearing that what he did was not obvious, Zhong Wenbei coughed and said, okay, King Ai treated us to dinner, that's great. Xiaoqing Ai frowned. She felt that the honest Zhong Wenbei seemed to have changed, and became weird. Is it great to be able to make braised meat? I just want to order takeaway, what's wrong? Zhong Wenbei had a smile on his face. He didn't even look at Xiaoqing Ai's reaction. He felt the pleasure of doing good things without leaving a name. He felt that he seemed to understand Brother Shen. I am a grown man, but I don't spend money to order takeout, and let the big star pay for it. If the audience scolds me, it seems that I can really not care, because they don't understand that I am in the second level, and these vulgar people are only in the first level. It's interesting. Although it seems to be sarcastic, it is at least a compliment. Xiaoqing Ai felt that he had to respond, so he asked expressionlessly, do you want to eat any dishes? Zhong Wenbei instinctively wanted to answer that everything was fine, and he was not picky about food. Xiaoqing Ai treated him, and even eating white rice was delicious. However, he had to learn more, so Zhong Wenbei strode to the door leading to the living room in the dining room, and then shouted, King Ai treats you, do you want to eat any dishes? Su Yuan looked up, I'm fine with everything. Chen Shen and Su Mian were playing games in the living room, and they also replied, everything is fine. Zhong Wenbei had a satisfied smile on his face, and turned back and said, everything is fine, we are not picky about food. Zhong Wenbei felt that Xiaoqing Ai's money could not be wasted, and everyone had to know that it was just altruism. Xiaoqing Ai smiled stiffly, thank you. From Xiaoqing Ai's perspective, it was Zhong Wenbei who cooked, and he wanted to be lazy and order takeout. Is it worth complaining? Sure enough, living with Zhou Gaikan, Xiaobai was led astray. Fang Ye came back just in time for the takeout to arrive at the villa, and also happened to meet Chen Shen and Zhong Wenbei coming out to get the takeout. Xiaoqing ordered a lot of dishes. Zhong Wenbei took a small bag from the delivery man first, and then turned around and left. Fang Ye frowned and asked Chen Shen, "What's wrong with Xiaobai? Is he in a bad mood?" Chen Shen shrugged, "Who knows?" Fang Ye also had a bag, so Chen Shen had to carry a big bag in one hand, which was very heavy. Fang Ye also wanted to help. Chen Shen said, "You take the rice, this is nothing." Fang Ye pouted and said, "Why is Xiaobai starting to be sneaky?" Chen Shen smiled and said, "Not to the point. By the way, did you check Weibo? King Ai is on the hot search," Fang Ye said with some concern. "It's not a big problem. It's not aimed at her," Chen Shen explained. Fang Ye breathed a sigh of relief. In his heart, Chen Shen was very smart and capable. Even Su Mo agreed with him. Since Chen Shen said it was not a big problem, it should be fine. In front, seeing Chen Shen and Fang Ye holding things in their hands, Zhong Wenbei smiled. He felt that he had realized it. If you only want to show your good side to everyone, it's too boring and passive. If someone doesn't understand or doesn't gain anything, it's even more uncomfortable. What about now? My buddy doesn't care about the camera at all. What do you want to do? If someone thinks you are not good, what do you know? I want everyone to show their good side to the audience. When the audience scolds me, everyone will understand my good intentions. It turns out that Xiaobai has taken on so much. It's exciting to think about it. I feel like everyone is drunk and I am the only one awake. I am not as stressed as before. It's so cool. No, Brother Shen is even more exaggerated than what I did. No wonder he doesn't care about anything and dares to contact 4 female guests at the same time. I used to think he was a scumbag, but it turned out that I was not good enough and thought too shallowly. Zhong Wenbei sighed. He felt that he realized it too late. At least here, he could not compare with Brother Shen, if there was another love variety show. In the kitchen, after putting all the dishes on the table, Zhou Gaikan had not come back yet. Everyone looked at each other, as if asking if they should wait. Zhong Wenbei coughed twice. "Let's eat first, it's okay, Brother Can probably has eaten, he comes back very late these days." After saying that, Zhong Wenbei felt very clear. Did he dare to say these words before? Chen Shen frowned and looked at Xia King Ai who was sitting opposite him. "King Ai, ask him what time he will arrive." Xia King Ai glanced at Chen Shen and stubbornly did not move. Chen Shen felt that Xia King Ai would definitely not suspect that she was the one who made the hot search. From Xia King Ai's perspective, she knew best who would do such a thing. Then why was Xia King Ai unhappy? From Chen Shen's perspective, he felt it was not difficult to guess. "I talked so much with Xia King Ai last night." At that time, Xia King Ai might have been immersed in the play and did not react to some things. She would definitely react after she sobered up. In fact, I politely refused to hold her hand and leave the show. Isn't this the result of saying so much? Chen Shen thought Xia King Ai didn't care about this, but now it seems that she cares again. Women are indeed a bit difficult to figure out. Chen Shen's voice weakened a bit. "Ask." Xia King Ai then took out his mobile phone and at Zhou Gaikan in the group, "What time will you be back?" "Zhou Gaikan, I forgot to say, I'm working overtime today, just eat, don't wait for me." The reply was almost immediate. Chen Shen got up and went to the kitchen. Everyone looked at him, not knowing what to do. Soon, Chen Shen brought a lunch box over, and then smiled. "There are so many dishes, we can't finish them, I'll make some and put them aside, just in case Sister Mo and the others come back hungry, they can have a midnight snack." Xia King Ai finally paid attention to Chen Shen. "You are so nice." Su Yuan glanced at Xia King Ai, frowned, and wanted to take over, but Chen Shen said first, "Eat, otherwise it will get cold. Pick up some dishes and put them in the lunch box, then sit down." Su Yuan on the left, Su Mian on the right, Xia King Ai opposite, Chen Shen sat upright. Fang also lowered his head to eat, not even looking at this side. Zhong Wenbei frowned and thought, thinking about what Chen Shen's behavior just now meant. Several girls were eating in small bites and didn't say anything. Su Yuan felt a little aggrieved. Xia King Ai's words had a bit of yin and yang flavor. She heard it and wanted to reply, but was interrupted by Chen Shen. After taking a bite of the food, Su Yuan wanted to speak again. Chen Shen seemed to have been paying attention to the side and said first, "The taste is okay. You can mark this restaurant and continue to call later." Xia King I ignored Chen Shen again. Su Yuan replied, "I'll order it tomorrow." After the second date, the situation was obviously much more sensitive. Chen Shen was thinking about this problem. Su Yuan was stupid. If she really confronted Xia King I, she would probably be sprayed to death by Xia King I's fans. Those people even dared to rush into Yuan media. Mian was okay. She didn't talk much. If no one paid attention to her, she would be like a little transparent. "I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me?" Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 109. After finishing the meal carefully, Chen Shen took the initiative to clean up the table, which was rare. Zhong Wenbei was the first to leave the table. If it were in the past, he would definitely take the initiative to rush to work, but not now. Fang Ye wanted to help. Su Yuan said, "Chen Shen and I can do it, brother Ye, you go and rest." Fang Ye smiled and turned to go out. Xia King I also walked very fast, as if he didn't care at all. Only Su Mian didn't move, still sitting at the table for dinner. Chen Shen looked at Su Yuan, then at Su Mian, and then said to Su Yuan, "Yuan, you play with Mian for a while, I will be done soon, just wash a few bowls for dinner today." Su Yuan looked at Chen Shen and pouted. Chen Shen sighed, "Su you accompany." Su Yuan smiled and interrupted, "You should play with Mian, I don't know when Sister Emma will be back, I will clean up, I am faster than you." Chen Shen sighed, not because he was helpless, but because he sighed at his own change. Would he care about these things before? What does it have to do with me? What about now? This one wants to take care of that one, and the children force them to work on their own initiative. Chen Shen would not really let Su Yuan work alone, but Su Yuan looked at Su Mian and smiled, Mian, let your brother Chen Shen accompany you for a walk, I will clean it up." Su Yuan pushed Chen Shen out while saying this. She was sincere. If Fang Ye saw this scene, he would probably be scared silly. What did Su Yuan think? Chen Shen said that Su Mian was a good friend, so he should also treat Su Mian as a good friend. Will she be unhappy? Yes. However, she had already vented her unhappiness to her bestie. She has regrouped. These things have come to this point, and they cannot be avoided, or the start was not good, so she can only treat each other sincerely. She thinks Chen Shen will understand, because in Su Yuan's heart, Chen Shen is a man who understands details and knows the warmth and coldness. Chen Shen is emotionally stable, and Su Yuan is also emotionally stable. She treats strangers well, so how could she bear to embarrass someone she likes? Why do you dislike Xia King I? Chen Shen sees Xia King I as an opponent, and Su Yuan also thinks Xia King I has ulterior motives. Then why should you treat Xia King I well? Is being a big star so great? Not to mention Chen Shen was stunned. Su Mian looked at Su Yuan several times. What are you doing? Then, help me throw away the garbage, Su Yuan said again. Chen Shen and Su Mian began to clean up the table, put the leftovers into a big box, and then went to throw away the garbage together. Walking on the stone road illuminated by street lights, Su Mian occasionally glanced at Chen Shen. Just now, she played a few rounds of team fight tactics with Chen Shen, and Chen Wenwen was there too. Su Mian is a skilled gamer, but when she plays with Chen Shen, she becomes a gambler. They play in 2-player mode, and every time Sumian finds a 3-star 4-cost card, or a 3-star 5-cost card, she will pass it to Chen Shen. Chen Shen is so happy to kill, she also laughs. Chen Shen feels embarrassed, so he asks Chen Wen when to play with Sumian, and asks Chen Wen when to find a 3-star 5-cost card for Sumian. When Chen Wen can't find it, Chen Shen calls her a little waste, and Chen Wen also calls Chen Shen a big waste. Very happy. Sumian can't empathize with Su Yuan, but suddenly feels that Su Yuan is a good person. When he was a child, he liked to think about others, but he was not happy. Later, he stopped thinking about others and played with himself. Now, she thinks about Chen Shen at most. Old Su may be afraid that his daughter will really be abducted, so he will say bad things about Chen Shen in front of Su Mian from time to time. For example, today, rumors have begun to spread that Chen Shen and Su Mo have an improper relationship. He said that Chen Hotpot had turned over because Sister Mo not only did not pursue Chen Hotpot for breach of contract, but also took the initiative to contact people from Yuxiang Hotpot. It was said that the 3 companies were going to cooperate. This incident was super big news in the catering industry in Yuzhou. A few days ago, the bank was still asking for payment, but now it has begun to ask Chen Ruxi if he still wants to borrow money. What does Sumian think? She just thinks that Sister Mo is really nice and will help if she says she will. Sumian asked Chen Shen, "Are you tired?" Chen Shen also asked Sumian, "Are you tired?" Sumian asked Chen Shen if he was tired of accumulating so many things together, and Chen Shen asked Sumian if he was tired of staying in an environment he was not used to for so many days. Sumian shook his head, "I'm not tired." Chen Shen followed with a shake of his head, "I'm not tired either." Sumian spoke very little, which meant that for Chen Shen, it meant that he didn't have to worry about it. It was very relaxing to play with her. Just as Sumian didn't worry about saying the wrong thing in front of Chen Shen didn't worry about saying the wrong thing in front of Sumian. Chen Shen remembered that Sumian wanted to break up with him the night before. There was no follow-up to this matter. She didn't mention it, and he didn't say it either. Chen Shen looked up at the sky, and the stars were shining. Chen Shen felt that perhaps people were like stars in the sky. In this world, everyone shines their own light, and everyone has their own obscurity and brightness. The previous life seemed like bitter wind and rain, and it was also like bright wind and clear moon. Looking back, it was all a dream. People's life is like the fluff in the wind, with sporadic joy and sporadic sorrow. In this case, do you want to go to a free and easy place? Look for it in a wide place? Should you live more passionately and wantonly? Mian. I'm definitely not here to fall in love. Sumian hummed twice again, "I know. There will be a collective team building in 2 days. Can you help me bring that guitar?" Sumian's eyes lit up, "Do you want to sing?" "Well, I want to repay Sister Mo for a favor. Speaking of this, I have to thank you." Sumian shook her head and said, "I just played a little role. Thank you for that too." "Okay, you're welcome." Chen Shen sent Sumian upstairs, then went downstairs to the kitchen. Su Yuan was gone, probably back to the bedroom. She lived with Xiaoqing Ai, and Chen Shen was a little worried. After thinking about it, he took the box of leftovers to the dining table, which was more conspicuous. Around 10 o'clock, Zhou Gaikan came back, parked the car, opened the door, and stood at the door. Zhou Gaikan hesitated for a while before entering the house. Seeing that there was no one in the living room, Zhou Gaikan breathed a sigh of relief. In peacetime, growing up peacefully, the word bad guy seems to be particularly weighty. When thinking about it, I am invincible, but when doing it, I am timid. Zhou Gaikan sighed, sighing that he actually did it to Xiaoqing Ai. She just asked me in the group if I wanted to come back for dinner. Why did I come back so late these days? I just felt awkward. I have already started the action, why do I have to face them? No need. I entered the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, took a can of cold soda, and kept telling myself, Joe Geiken, Joe Geiken, this is about my reputation, I have already started, don't be soft-hearted. I must use Xia King Ai to attract the heat first, and then let out Chen Shen, the big scumbag. I turned around and was stunned. There was a big lunch box on the table. I walked over and opened it. It was full of meat, including shrimp, chicken, and ribs. Is this for myself? Will anyone else care about me? Joe Geiken reached out and took a big shrimp and put it in his mouth. The cold food seemed to be a little warm when he ate it. Joe Geiken closed the box and looked back with a guilty conscience. It was impossible. They ignored me. It must be for Sister Mo. I went upstairs and opened the bedroom door. I saw Zhong Wenbei sitting at the table, biting a pen, and staring blankly with an envelope in front of him. Hearing the sound, Zhong Wenbei turned around, Brother Ken, you came back so late. Joe Geiken smiled, I have to work overtime, I can't help it. Zhong Wenbei sighed, it's so difficult to write this thing, can it only be written to female guests? Joe Geiken stared, what do you want to do? Zhong Wenbei smiled, how about we write to each other? Joe Geiken, get lost. Zhong Wenbei laughed, ghosts would write to each other with you, he just doesn't care about the camera, it's a bit jumpy, even if you can write to men, it's for Brother Shen. Xiaobai, who made your dinner tonight? Dinner tonight? Take out. Who ordered it? King Ai, didn't she ask you if you would come back for dinner? Joe Geiken was stunned, then sighed. I made her go on the hot search and was scolded by passers-by and fans of competitors. They said Xia King Ai was out of date and even appeared on a show like a love variety show. She must be really hungry. Xia King Ai's fans went to Yuan Media again, and they wanted to rush to Yuan Media's company to defend their idol, either to clarify or severely punish the rumor maker. But, they asked me if I would come back for dinner, and they left so many dishes for me. I deserve to die? Thanks to Tokyo Handsome Guy's Corner Journey for the 100 coin reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show, why do you choose me? Author, Qingzhou Mi Se. Chapter 110. In the villa next door, Zhao Chunsheng was on the phone with Shen Hailan. Xia King Ai suddenly became a hot search topic and caught Zhao Chunsheng off guard. However, there are advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage is definitely that the publicity is a bit passive. The advantage is that Shen Hailan cares about this matter very much and can ask her for people and hot observation room guests. Director Zhao, is there any problem with Qing Yi's performance? Zhao Chunsheng was really stumped by Shen Hailan's question. Zhao Chunsheng pondered for a moment, I don't think there is any problem. Qing Yi is a very generous girl. Shen Hailan smiled, I know this. She has always been very enterprising. Now that the popularity has increased and the format of your program is novel enough, I will help you coordinate the three of them. Make sure one of them is present when the time comes. Zhao Chunsheng was so happy that he even moved his phone closer, thank you very much, Mr. Shen. Don't worry, I will keep in touch with you in the future. One more thing, do you think I can find an actor or actress from Huanyu? How about coming over? The other party was silent for a few seconds. Director Zhao, you are quite generous. Zhao Chunsheng laughed and said, when everyone adds firewood, the flames will be high. Shen Hailan, it seems that Director Zhao is very confident in this project. Okay, I have no problem here. After hanging up the phone, Zhao Chunsheng couldn't help but stood up. Love Lesson is different from ordinary romance dramas. It has a love line and an actor's line. There are 3 top idols under Yuan, 2 of which are developing very well in terms of acting. The most important thing is it's very popular. I'll contact Huan Yu tomorrow and tell them that Yuan has agreed to let 3 of the TT family be guests in the observation room. It shouldn't be a big problem to ask them for a best actor or best actress. Zhao Chunsheng turned to the assistant behind him and said. The assistant smiled and said, then Huan Yu will definitely not be able to refuse. For them, Xiaoqing's romance with the drama is equivalent to watching a joke, and they will also get traffic and money. Then we will have another gimmick of Huan Yu and Yuan's fight. Zhao Chunsheng thought for a while and then said, by the way, you should also contact Black Gold to see if they are interested. After all, Chen Shen came from Black Gold. If Zhang Sukan can also come, then we can't imagine the popularity of our project. The assistant clapped his hands, maybe there is a role, I will contact you. Zhao Chunsheng was smiling all over his face. He was worried about how to find guests in the observation room. After someone revealed that Xiaoqing Ai had appeared on his show, he had no worries at all. It's quite tempting to watch Xiaoqing fall in love. Zhao Chunsheng did not guess that the hot search was caused by Zhou Gaikan. He didn't even try to guess Chen Shen or Mada. This guy was like a duck to water in the show. He was winning money on the court, so there was no need to fight off the court. Zhao Chunsheng didn't dare to mention Chen Shen in front of Shen Hailan, for fear that she would make Xiaoqing a fool. Call back. In Zhao Chunsheng's opinion, that hot search was most likely caused by Huan Yu. Not to mention others, Zhao Chunsheng himself was curious about how the show would end. Can Chen Shen really be so determined not to leave with Xiaoqing Ai? In the recording villa, Xiaoqing Ai put on her pajamas. As the weather gradually turned colder, her pajamas also changed from silk to cotton pajamas. Sitting in front of the dressing table, Xiaoqing Ai was also worried about how to write today's letter. The phone vibrated. As soon as Xiaoqing took it over, Zhou Gaikan sent a message in their group. A photo of a lunchbox, and then paired with a slightly funny emoticon of thanks for leaving the meal. Xiaoqing put down her phone and ignored it. During the day, when Sister Lan asked herself about Chen Shen and Zhou Gaikan, Xiaoqing Ai guessed that the hot search was probably done by these 2 people. If Chen Shen wouldn't do such a thing, Zhou Gaikan would be the only one. From Xiaoqing Ai's perspective, Zhou Gaikan is a happy person, and it is normal to do this kind of thing after no friendship. Not to mention the artists below, the bosses of the 2 companies sometimes get angry with each other in front of the media. After this incident was revealed, she didn't read much of the news online, but she could really feel the pressure. It's like a running race. Before the starting gun, no one knows what's going on. After the starting gun goes off, a sense of urgency comes over you. The phone vibrated again. This time, it was Shen Hailan's WeChat message. Qing Yi, Director Zhao, and I will keep in touch. Don't be too stressed. Just focus on the show. I'll take care of things outside the show. Xiaoqing Ai was confused, but still replied. She put down her phone and started to think about this matter. Shen Hailan is now her first agent, but to this extent, under normal circumstances, Shen Hailan will not contact her directly. Her first agent is external, and she is a security guard. Yes, usually people in the team contact me. Although I don't know what Sister Ian's words mean, it proves one point that she will catch the show herself. Xiaoqing shook his head, you don't want me to feel pressure. Isn't this contradictory? Xiaoqing picked up the pen and continued to think about writing a letter. Just as I was about to start writing, I suddenly remembered something and quickly picked up my phone and scrolled around. 2 minutes later, Xiaoqing Ai understood. On Weibo, the entry for Xiaoqing Ai's Lian zone disappeared. On Thursday, Chen Shen ran around the yard early in the morning. I didn't see Su Mo, which was a bit unaccustomed. Yesterday, Su Mo didn't come back at all. After running, I was covered in sweat and went back to the bedroom to take a shower. After Chen Shen came out of the shower, Fang Ye slowly got up, taking a breath and getting dressed. Seeing Chen Shen sitting down at the computer desk, Fang was a little surprised. "Why don't you leave today?" Chen Shen replied while opening the computer, "Sister Mo hasn't come back." "Sister Mo didn't come back, does it conflict with your work?" Early in the morning, my brain was slow to think, and Fang Ye reacted when I got out of bed, "Good guy, you won't go to work without a special car." Chen Shen smiled, "What difference does it make whether he goes to work or not now? He does this job everywhere. Sister Mo will probably give up in the future. I thought her investment was going to fail. I didn't expect that there would be a silver lining. Not only did it not fail, but the plate is getting bigger and bigger." Fang Ye sighed. Chen Shen shrugged, "The news spread really fast." Fang Ye went into the bathroom and then came out. "Why aren't you surprised?" Chen Shen spread his hands, "Wow, Sister Mo is amazing." Fang Ye frowned and simply walked towards Chen Shen. "I think it's very strange. You must be doing more than just marketing. Apart from other things, not everyone can sit in the co-pilot seat of Su Mo, and sit there for so many days. Come on, tell me, is your family in business or in government?" Chen Shen looked over, "Do you really want to know?" Fang Ye nodded, "Go ahead, I'm prepared." Chen Shen smiled and said, "Not really. Which industry did Sister Mo invest in?" Sister Mo? Chen Hotpot, the Chen family, Chen Ruxi, was also a number one figure back then, and almost became the number one hotpot in Yuzhou when he was awesome. "What's my last name?" "Your last name? Your father is Chen Ruxi." Chen Shen nodded. Fang Ye took a long time to come back to his senses, and then asked, "Does Su Mo know?" "Now she knows. So, Chen Hotpot's resurrection has something to do with you." Chen Shen told Fang Ye this, not to show off, and smiled, "I'm not that powerful, it's all thanks to Sister Mo." Fang Ye turned and went into the bathroom, and then began to wash up. He needed some time to think. After washing his face and brushing his teeth, he asked outside again, "Do they know?" "At present, probably only you and Sister Mo know. I'm just being paid to be on a dating show. Why do you choose me?" Author, Qingzhou Se. Chapter 111. Chen Shen held his computer and went downstairs with Fang Ye to experience the pace of Ye's work. In Fang Ye's eyes, Chen Shen's identity was unexpected, but it seemed reasonable. These things really don't need to be introduced, but he is too low-key. His family is the leader in the hot pot industry in Yuzhou, but he actually does the most inconspicuous job. When he went out, Fang Ye looked at Chen Shen again, "Is your family really not short of money now?" Chen Shen smiled and said, "I will definitely find you when I am short of money." Fang Ye felt a little complicated. No wonder Su Mo and Chen Shen got along well. It turned out that there was this relationship. From this point of view, Su Yuan had some vision. At the beginning, when Su Yuan and Chen Shen were not very promising, Fang Ye thought that Su Yuan would definitely choose Zhou Gaikan. What was the result? Getting closer and closer to Chen Shen. Now it seems that Su Yuan either has a good vision or a good life. Chen Shen put the computer on the coffee table, made a cup of hot tea by himself, and then sat on the carpet to start working. Before he could even sit down, there was another tapping sound at the stairs. Chen Shen looked over. Brother Ye was the last one to go out. How could there be someone who would go out later? Xia King I appeared at the stairs. Chen Shen was stunned at first, then his eyes lit up. He was dressed in black, a corset, a short jacket, and a neutral outfit, with a kind of fierce temperament. Xia King I might have felt strange seeing Chen Shen at this point. He was stunned for a moment, then stretched out his hand, and a more fierce face appeared. Chen Shen frowned, imitated Xia King Ai and made a face exactly like hers, then patted the sofa next to him, motioning her to come and sit for a while. Do you think everyone is like you? So idle, I'm going to be late, Xia King Ai said and walked out. When he was almost at the door, he came back and stood next to Chen Shen again. How do you know he will remove the trending search? It's not just because of a meal, right? Xia King Ai couldn't sleep last night, otherwise he would have gone out earlier. First, there is a lot of pressure, and second, I am trying to figure out who removed the hot search. Now that the discussion has started, I can only remove the hot search technically. If the company removed it themselves, they would not inform me. Sister Lan asked me not to care about things outside the program, which only means that Sister Lan thought that she removed the hot search. That's why she specifically told me not to be stressed. Chen Shen smiled and said, "Aren't you ignoring me?" Xia King Ai put her hands on her hips. "Hurry up, I'm going to work." Chen Shen turned the computer and showed Xia King Ai the computer screen. Xia King Ai bent down. "What's wrong? Look at the 9th one. A trainee debuted on a love variety show with a scumbag script? What kind of rotten hot search is this?" Xia King Ai couldn't help but start complaining. Don't mention Xia King Ai, Chen Shen wanted to laugh when he saw it before. Not to mention, this hot search is quite discussed. Because there is the premise that Xia King Ai is on a love variety show, suddenly another one came, and many people came in to ask if it is the love variety show that Xia King Ai is on. This is a soft article, and it also mentioned a person, saying that Jang Sukin's junior brother is going to debut in a love variety show, and he is the kind of person who has a scumbag script in his hand. Xia King Ai read the article while looking at Chen Shen, and then she was so happy. At first, she thought Zhou Gaikan was targeting her, but now it seems that he was targeting Chen Shen. However, the article did not mention a specific name, so everyone was guessing who it was. A Xia King Ai and a Jang Sukin, they just took advantage of the popularity of these two people to raise the discussion. It was very rough, but a little clever. The roughness is just the beginning. The program team has not announced the people who will be on the love variety show yet, and you are throwing smoke bombs across. The clever point is that the popularity of Xia King Ai and Jang Sukin was used to make the fans of these two people start to scold. For example, the comments with the most likes under the entry. "So it's you, this bitch, who's trying to hype up our King Ai for yourself, right? Don't let me know who you are. Damn, did my brother provoke you? You're a trainee, but you're a little too bold, right? People nowadays aren't fools, and buying hot searches like this will only bring you bad luck." In the eyes of those fans, Xia King Ai's hot searches, as well as this hot search, were all attributed to this mysterious person. Xia King Ai flipped down, and she seemed to understand. Zhou Gaikan wasn't targeting her, so he just needed to find his conscience and he would naturally shift his target. If you look at it this way, it's really because of that bowl of rice that the hot search was removed. "How did you provoke him?" Xia King Ai's tone softened a bit. Chen Shen didn't expect Zhou Gaikan to remove the hot search at first, he just wanted Xia King Ai to get a good impression in front of him. Zhou Gaikan wasn't a pure bad guy, otherwise he would have taken action long ago. Chen Shen saw that he came back late these days because he was afraid of embarrassment. Zhou Gaikan was also a person who wanted to save face. But Chen Shen didn't expect that this guy was also soft-hearted. This was a bit of his style. Chen Shen shrugged, jealous. Xia King Ai rolled her eyes, took out her mobile phone, sent a few messages, and then sat next to Chen Shen. "How can I ignore you? Didn't you say that holding hands or not doesn't make much sense? If I still play with you, you will be scolded to death by the audience," Xia King Ai explained. Xia King Ai understood what Chen Shen said. "Doesn't it mean that it doesn't make much sense? Doesn't it mean that you refuse to leave with him? Since this ending is destined, you should have less contact with Chen Shen in the show. Chen Shen looked over and smiled, then you go to work. Xia King I. Seeing Xia King I looking angry again, Chen Shen hurriedly said, it's just a joke, I want to discuss something with you. You apologize first. Chen Shen glared, okay, I'm sorry. Not bad, then beg me to play with you for a whole morning. This time it was Chen Shen's turn to roll his eyes, aren't you going to keep your distance from me? Xia King I glanced at the computer screen and shook his head, I think you are quite arrogant and need to be punished. Whatever you do, they are scolding you now anyway, you won't have no way out, right? As he spoke, he began to speak in a sarcastic way. Xia King I really wanted to stop playing with Chen Shen and give the program team less material. After Shen Halen left, Chen Shen would not get any advantage in editing. The more he played with Chen Shen, the more Chen Shen would be scolded. Recording and broadcasting are two concepts. Thinking of this, Xia King I looked at Chen Shen, why don't you come to Aryuan? Chen Shen shook his head and said, you don't really think I can do anything? Xia King I snorted, I don't want to bother with you, tell me, what do you want to discuss with me? Chen Shen looked at Xia King I, it's nothing big, I just want you to tolerate Su Yuan. You are so shameless, you have the nerve to say it. Xia King I frowned, hesitated for a while, and then said, not really, nothing will happen between me and her. Chen Shen didn't explain, Xia King I understood, just like Fang Ye and her at the beginning, the same reason. Xia King I said to Fang Ye, she was under great pressure, and although the rhythm was on Chen Shen's side, Xia King I could do whatever he wanted. For the same reason, Chen Shen must have been under great pressure when facing Su Yuan. The more he thought about it, the more Xia King I felt sorry for Su Yuan. Chen Shen was too smart, it was too easy for him to cheat a woman. Chen Shen. Can I really trust you? Thanks to Longan Boy for the 500 coin reward. Thanks to what is this, for the 200 coin reward.